Let me ask you something that might stop you in your tracks. What did you do within the first 30 minutes of waking up this morning? Maybe you got out of bed, shuffled to the kitchen, and poured yourself a cup of coffee. Maybe you grabbed a glass of juice. Maybe you skipped eating altogether and just got on with your day. Maybe you did something that feels so routine, so completely ordinary, that you've never once thought to question it. Here's what concerns me as a doctor. There is one morning habit that I see in older adults, patients who are trying to do right by their health, patients who are managing blood sugar carefully, patients who have absolutely no idea this is happening, and it is quietly spiking their blood sugar faster and harder than a candy bar would. Not just once in a while, every single morning. And here's what makes this especially difficult to catch. Most people who do it believe it's actually good for them. Some have been doing it for decades.
Some were even told to do it by well-meaning people years ago. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what it is, why it affects your body the way it does after 60, and most importantly, what to do instead. Because there are some genuinely simple changes that can shift how your blood sugar behaves all day long. And I mean all day. Stay with me, because the habit I'm going to describe in just a moment is one that millions of American seniors are repeating every single morning without realizing what it's doing to them. I've been working with older adults for a long time now, and one of the things I hear most consistently from patients managing blood sugar, whether they've been diagnosed with diabetes, pre-diabetes, or just told their numbers are a little high, is some version of this. I'm doing everything right. I don't understand why my numbers won't come down. And I believe them. They are trying. They're watching what they eat. They're taking their medications. They're doing what they've been told. But what nobody told them is that blood sugar control isn't just about what you eat at dinner or whether you had dessert. It starts the moment you wake up. The first hour of your morning sets the metabolic tone for the entire day. And for older adults especially, that window matters enormously. Here's why. After 60, your body's ability to regulate blood sugar naturally becomes less efficient. The cells that respond to insulin, the hormone that moves sugar from your blood into your tissues where it can be used as fuel, don't respond as quickly or as effectively as they did at 40. Doctors call this insulin resistance, and it increases with age, even in people who eat carefully and exercise regularly. So the margin for error in the morning is smaller than it used to be. Things that wouldn't have affected your blood sugar much at 50 can have a real and measurable impact at 65 or 70. And the habit I'm about to describe takes full advantage of that smaller margin. Let's talk about what's actually happening inside your body the moment you wake up. Even before you've eaten a single thing, your blood sugar is already rising. This isn't a malfunction. It's actually by design. In the early morning hours, typically between 4 and 8 a.m., your body releases a wave of hormones to prepare you for the day. Cortisol, adrenaline, growth hormone. These hormones tell your liver to release stored glucose into the bloodstream. Essentially, your body is giving itself a natural energy boost to get you moving. Doctors call this the dawn phenomenon. And for people with healthy, responsive insulin systems, it's barely noticeable. The pancreas releases a little extra insulin, the glucose gets cleared, and the whole thing resolves quietly. But for older adults, especially those with any degree of insulin resistance, pre-diabetes, or type 2 diabetes, that morning glucose release doesn't clear as cleanly. The blood sugar goes up, and it takes longer to come back down. You're already starting the day on an upward slope. Now, here's where the morning habit comes in. And I want you to really picture this. You wake up, your blood sugar is already elevated from the dawn phenomenon. Your cortisol is running high, your body is primed and slightly on edge, metabolically speaking. And then you do the one thing that throws fuel on that fire. You skip breakfast, or you wait 2, 3, sometimes 4 hours before eating anything at all. I know, many of you have heard that skipping breakfast is fine. Some of you may have heard about intermittent fasting and decided to try it. Some of you just aren't hungry in the mornings and figure it's better to wait until you are. And I understand all of that reasoning. But here's what happens in an older body when you delay that first meal after waking up. Your cortisol stays elevated, When cortisol stays high, your liver keeps releasing glucose. Your blood sugar continues to climb, not because you ate anything, but because your stress hormones are running the show unchecked. And without food to trigger an insulin response, that glucose just sits in the bloodstream with nothing to move it. By the time you finally do eat, at 10 in the morning or noon or whenever hunger finally shows up, your blood sugar is already elevated. You eat a normal meal, your body releases insulin, but now it's trying to handle both the meal glucose and the accumulated fasting glucose at the same time. The result is a sharper, higher spike than you'd have had if you'd eaten a modest, balanced breakfast within an hour of waking. Research supports this. A study published in the journal Diabetes Care found that skipping breakfast was associated with significantly higher post-meal blood sugar spikes throughout the day, even when total calorie intake was exactly the same. It wasn't about eating more, it was about when. And for older adults, whose insulin response is already slower, that difference in timing can translate to hours of elevated blood sugar, which over months and years quietly damages blood vessels, burdens the kidneys, and contributes to fatigue and inflammation throughout the body. Now, the skipped breakfast is the main habit I want you to take seriously. But while we're talking about the morning, I need to walk you through several other common mistakes that compound the problem. Because most seniors aren't just doing one thing, they're doing 2 or 3 things simultaneously that stack on top of each other before 9 in the morning. The next mistake happens for a lot of people, and most never suspect it affects blood sugar at all. Drinking juice, or any sweetened beverage, as the first thing that goes into your body in the morning. Orange juice, apple juice, even the kinds that say no sugar added on the label. These are concentrated sources of fructose and glucose with very little fiber to slow the absorption. When you drink juice on an empty stomach, that sugar hits your bloodstream almost immediately. There's no food matrix to slow it down. No fiber, no protein, no fat. Just a direct line from your glass to your blood. For a younger person with robust insulin sensitivity, the body handles it quickly. For an older adult with any degree of insulin resistance, especially first thing in the morning when cortisol is already elevated, that juice can spike blood sugar dramatically and rapidly. And here's the thing that frustrates me most about this one. Juice has been marketed as a healthy morning choice for decades. It's associated with freshness, vitamins, good mornings, and in a different form, eating an actual piece of fruit with its fiber intact, it's a much gentler option. But the juice itself, especially on an empty stomach, is one of the fastest ways to spike blood sugar that most seniors don't see coming. The better alternative is simple: a small handful of berries alongside a balanced breakfast, or water with a squeeze of lemon to start the morning. Hydrating, refreshing, and completely neutral for blood sugar. Speaking of water, this is the third piece of the morning puzzle that almost nobody talks about. Most older adults wake up mildly dehydrated. You've gone 7 or 8 hours without fluid. Your blood is slightly thicker and more concentrated than it was the night before. And here's why that matters for blood sugar. When you're dehydrated, glucose becomes more concentrated in your bloodstream. The same amount of sugar in less fluid means higher blood sugar readings, even before you've eaten anything. Studies have shown that mild dehydration raises blood sugar in ways that can meaningfully affect daily glucose control. And the fix couldn't be simpler. A full glass of water, ideally before coffee, before juice, before anything else, within the first 15 minutes of waking up makes a genuine difference. This is one of the easiest habits to add to any morning. No preparation, no cost, just a glass of water. Now, let's talk about coffee, because I know a lot of you are waiting for this one. Coffee itself is not the enemy. I want to be clear about that. Research has actually shown some favorable associations between moderate coffee consumption and long-term blood sugar regulation. Coffee contains compounds that support insulin sensitivity over time, so the morning coffee habit, broadly speaking, is not what I'm warning about here. But there are 2 coffee-related mistakes that can affect blood sugar in ways that matter. The first is adding significant amounts of sugar, flavored syrups, or sweetened creamers to your coffee. A plain cup of black coffee has essentially no effect on blood sugar, But a coffee drink loaded with vanilla syrup and sweetened creamer is closer to a dessert than a beverage, and it hits your bloodstream with a similar impact. If you enjoy coffee with something in it, unsweetened almond milk, a small amount of whole cream, or a natural sweetener, like a very small amount of monk fruit, are much gentler options. The second coffee-related issue is more nuanced, and this is one I find genuinely interesting. Drinking coffee, even black coffee, on a completely empty stomach can elevate cortisol levels in some people. And as we've already established, elevated cortisol tells your liver to release more glucose. So for those of you who drink coffee first thing in the morning and then don't eat for another hour or two, you may be adding a cortisol spike on top of the dawn phenomenon, on top of a skipped breakfast. The simple fix is eating something small, even a few bites of protein or healthy fat, either before or alongside your morning coffee. It doesn't need to be a full meal. It just needs to be something that anchors your metabolism and begins to signal your insulin system to start working. Which brings me to what a genuinely blood sugar-friendly morning actually looks like. And I want to be realistic here, because I know that mornings can be rushed, and nobody needs a complicated new routine. The goal is simple. Within about 30 to 60 minutes of waking up, eat something small and balanced. That means protein and some healthy fat, with minimal added sugar. Eggs in almost any form are excellent. A small portion of full-fat Greek yogurt with berries. A handful of nuts alongside a piece of whole fruit. Even a small amount of whole-grain toast with nut butter, chosen for low sodium content, is far better than nothing. Drink water before anything else. Take that glass seriously. It's not a small thing. And if you're managing blood sugar through medication or insulin, please don't make significant changes to your morning eating patterns without talking to your doctor first, because timing and food can interact directly with how those medications work. Here's something I want you to hold on to. Blood sugar instability doesn't just affect your energy and your glucose readings. Over time, chronically elevated morning blood sugar quietly damages blood vessels throughout your entire body, including the tiny vessels inside the kidneys and the arteries surrounding the heart. I covered the connection between blood sugar and kidney health in a recent video, and I genuinely encourage you to watch that next if this topic resonates with you, because these systems are more connected than most people realize, and understanding one helps you understand the other. Poor sleep is another piece of this that I don't want to gloss over because it feeds directly into what we've been talking about. One night of poor sleep raises cortisol. It increases insulin resistance measurably the next morning. It elevates blood sugar readings before you've even gotten out of bed. And for older adults who already struggle with sleep quality, which is extremely common, this creates a frustrating cycle where poor sleep leads to higher blood sugar, and higher blood sugar disrupts sleep further. If broken sleep is something you're dealing with, please know that it's not just a comfort issue. It's a metabolic issue, and it deserves real attention. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's the very first thing you eat or drink in the morning? And has anything I've shared today surprised you? Or maybe explained something you've been wondering about? Tell me where you're watching from, too. We have an incredible community here from all across the country, and I genuinely love knowing who's on the other end of these videos. Before I let you go, I want to say something that I mean sincerely. Your body is not working against you. It's doing exactly what aging bodies do, becoming more sensitive to the things that surround it every day. The foods, the timing, the stress, the sleep. And that sensitivity, as inconvenient as it can feel, is actually an invitation to pay a little more attention, to make a few small adjustments, to treat your mornings as the metabolic foundation that they genuinely are. You don't need a perfect diet. You don't need to overhaul your entire life. You need a glass of water when you wake up, something small and balanced within the first hour, a little awareness about what you're putting in your body before the rest of your morning begins. Those are not dramatic changes, but over weeks and months, they make a real and measurable difference in your blood sugar, your energy, your clarity, and how you feel by the time afternoon rolls around. If this video was helpful to you, please share it with someone you care about. A spouse, a sibling, a friend who's been struggling with their numbers and can't figure out why. And if you'd like to understand the connection between morning coffee habits and long-term blood sugar control at a deeper level, I have a video on exactly that, and it covers some of the recent research in a way I think you'll find genuinely useful. That one is linked right here. Subscribe if you'd like to stay part of this community. Every video I make is built around giving you the kind of honest, practical, evidence-based information that can actually move the needle on how you feel every day. Take good care of yourself this morning, and every morning after this one.